let's pivot for a second because Shanahan spoke yesterday alongside John Lynch.
Did he? Did he?
He looked a little edgy.
Yeah.
He looked a little angry. Mm-hmm. He looked a little mad, and he was not there for the nonsense.
No.
He was straightforward about everything, including Jimmy Garoppolo. He was asked about Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, we all think, look, we didn't think Jimmy would be in red and gold last season, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he ended up in red and gold. Hey, Shanahan, is there any situation where Garoppolo could be back for the 2023 season?
Is there a scenario in which you guys could see Jimmy being back, and if so, what would that look like?
No, I don't see any scenario of that.
I don't see any scenario.
Yeah.
I don't see any scenario where he's going to be back. And then the reporter's like, oh, I'm talking about Garoppolo. Goes, oh, no, I got you. I knew what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, we've been through this before. I will say this, and I know we're going to continue to get into it. I will say this. The way John Lynch talked about Trey Lance and how he has to prove he can stay healthy and how Brock Purdy has been really durable, I think was the exact quote. And by the way, playing 8 games or 9 games is really durable for the Niners. That's where we're at. That's where the bar is, by the way.
Right.
But because they made such a decision to talk about that, that's why I do believe that Jimmy is gone this time, because you can't make the club in the tub and you can't have a guy, you can't continue to bring a guy back that can't finish the season.
No, you can't.
And I know we're going to get into the offensive line, but a lot of teams don't have good offensive lines, right?
No.
This is to me, Jimmy has not been able to stay healthy, period.
He got himself hurt. You know, a lot of people, let's be real. You go back to the Miami game, and you could say Trey got himself hurt. He didn't protect himself in week 2 against Seattle. Well, what the hell was Jimmy doing? Mm-hmm. Did he think he was going to outrun Javon Holland and Phillips on the edge there? Throw the ball away, dude.
Yeah.
Throw it away. He thought he was athletic. He's not. He can't run away from guys, and he gets hurt. Now, the injury sucks. I really feel bad for him because he was playing really good football. But Jimmy, at times, doesn't make the smartest decisions. Mm-hmm. And I think for both parties, for Jimmy, for Kyle Shanahan, for this fan base, let's just wash our hands.
It's time.
Jimmy, thanks for everything.
It's time.
But it's time.
It's time. It feels similar to me. Shout out Spadone. It feels similar to me, Raiders with Derek Carr. Nobody is saying Derek Carr is bad. Nobody is saying Derek Carr is trash. Some people are, but I am not. Right. I think Derek Carr
I don't think he's trash.
He's a pretty good quarterback.
I just don't want him as my quarterback.
Right. He's just throw him in the bucket with the Kirk Cousins and all those guys, and everybody's saying, look how much he did for the Raiders. Okay, so what does that mean? Yeah. Sometimes it's just time to move on.
How many playoff games do you win? How many times did he go to the playoffs?
I mean,
how many times did he point the fingers at a receiver because he threw it away?
That was my favorite.
Takes the showing him off. Just showing everybody up. You're supposed to be the captain of the team.
Right.
And you're out here throwing hissy fits all day long on the football field. Enough. At least Jimmy doesn't do that.
Jimmy doesn't do
but
that.
That's why I don't want Derek Carr around here.
Right. Jimmy doesn't do that, but Jimmy can't stay on the field. And, you know, these are different reasons, but the same result. They just need to move forward. It was a good run. Bonte, the 510 is calling me out. Alan, cut it out. John Lynch did not say Brock has been durable. He did. We'll find it.
Yeah,
we'll find it. He did.
Where is that cut? Here, let me play this one. John Lynch on the 49ers quarterback injury history. I think it's just a coincidence.
I'm sure people wonder. Jimmy's had his issues, but believe me, it's nothing the way we play our quarterbacks or anything. I think it's just coincidence, and we look into everything, but I don't think we have any more of an issue than anybody else. I think that's a tough position in this league.
All right, so that's a tough position. Shanahan spoke about Purdy's timeline yesterday. Brock Purdy's timeline.
Once 3 months is over, they start the rehab of just building the arm back slowly. And by 6 months, it's built back. And that's when I started asking questions. So does that mean ease him in and stuff like that? Like you would think of ACLs and things like that. And they said, no, the build-up's been from 3 to 6. And at 6 months, he is the same dude in full go. So that was the most encouraging part that I heard.
So we'll see about that if Brock Purdy's back in 6 months.
Yeah.
I have my doubts. Now, you play baseball.
If he gets Tommy John, it's a year.
It's a year.
It's a year if he gets the surgery. Now, obviously, you get a second. Why? It's just when you talk to your parents, why do you go talk to your mom after you talk to your dad? Because your mom said something that you didn't want to hear.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know, so Brock Purdy, he getting a second opinion because he didn't like what the first opinion was.
Right.
And hopefully,
the first opinion probably was what? Tommy John?
You got to go under the knife.
What did you think when you saw it? Because you play baseball.
It looked weird. I mean, I thought it might have been a funny bone situation, something like that, but it all happened so quickly, and then right after that, I think the Eagles go 3-and-out, and then Josh Johnson comes in. You're thinking, oh no. Now, normally Tommy John, when you're talking about a pitcher, there's no contact,
right?
So that's why this was a bit different. Normally, it's just okay, the way you were throwing or something didn't feel right. You tried to fight through it, and then there was an issue. So typically, you don't see it due to a contact play, but I did not think it was that serious when I first saw.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. And then next thing you know, we saw him throwing on the sideline. We're like, oh. And Shasky was all over it. He's like, yo, that's a UCL. That's an elbow injury. He's done. Shasky was on that from the get-go at Lincoln Financial Field, excuse me. Shanahan on if they'll look to go grab a veteran quarterback.
I know we have 2 starters on our team right now that I believe we can win with. So when you have that situation, you're not that eager to go looking around.
So he believes he has 2 starters on the roster. Brock Purdy, Trey Lance.
Right.
Trey Lance, we saw him walk on the field in Philadelphia. He's still in the boot after getting the cleanup. So he's still in the boot.
3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks.
We'll see. Brock Purdy, we have no idea what's going on. They say 6 months. Could be longer.
Right.
So that 6-month timeline takes you right through August. Is he going to have his throwing power? How's he going to look? Is he going to compete for the job? I think the Niners either need to draft a quarterback or sign somebody. Now, who that somebody is, I have no idea. But I don't feel comfortable going into the season with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, especially if you have Super Bowl aspirations.
And I'm not trying to be pessimistic here. All I can do is speak from experience. And look, it's very similar. Almost the Tommy John situation is almost similar to the Achilles situation in sports as well. So you would say, okay, well, back in the day in Achilles, that was pretty rough, right? A lot of guys didn't come back from it. Not the same anymore. Same thing with Tommy John. Tommy John, some guys would come back from it. Some guys wouldn't, at least be the same.
Yep.
So there's a good chance that Brock Purdy is fine when he comes back. But let's not forget, Bonte, what was the one thing that Brock Purdy was lacking?
Arm strength.
So you can't really afford to lose any arm strength as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So you better hope that he comes back 100%. Here's some of the names, Bonte. Obviously, you can cross off Tom Brady. You got Baker Mayfield, who I think the Rams might want to bring back because who knows what Matthew Stafford's doing.
Yep.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, God.
Jimmy G, of course. Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, no.
Daniel Jones, who I guess somebody's going to pay. Case Keenum. Your boy, Mason Rudolph. I don't know why he's your boy. I just said that. Jacoby Brissett. Gino's going to get cashed out, I would assume, by the Seahawks. Joe Flacco.
Oh, my God.
All right. CJ Beathard.
All right,
bring him back.
Please stop.
Kyle Allen. Taylor Heineke actually doesn't.
Oh, my God.
They're just
such
hear
a
me
shitty
out,
head
though.
quarterback.
Tyler Heineke. Just have him there.
Such a shitty head quarterback.
Just have him there.
Oh, my God.
You got Blaine Gabbert. Your boy, Money Mullins can come back.
Oh, my God. It's develop Trey.
Yeah.
It's time to develop Trey Lance.
Right. Which I don't know why that is such a crazy statement right now.
Well, a lot of people are down on Trey Lance because when you look at this roster, you look at this core, do people believe Trey Lance is ready to help get the Niners back to that point they were just at for the past 2 seasons, which is the NFC title game? Trey Lance has played 5 games since 2018. He's played 5. All right? 5 games. No development. And so now that season that Jalen Hurts had a season to go to where he was able to go through the rigors of the NFL. See what the speed was like, play through the mistakes. And all of a sudden he loses a playoff game in Tampa Bay. Boom, the next year he's rolling, right? He's lost 1 game this season, Jalen Hurts. Trey Lance hasn't had that. We thought we were going to see that this year. Hell, at this point, looking back at it, knowing that the Niners lost the NFC Championship to the LA Rams, I would have just loved to see Trey Lance play that entire season.
Well, sure. Yeah, you can say that now, right? You can say that now.
I was actually one of the lunatics who wanted him to start week 1.
Well, I was at that Texans game when he came through and he did his thing in the second half. So I was high on him as well. He's behind the 8 ball. He was very far behind the 8 ball, and here's the problem. Just because he's a year older, he hasn't gotten to work on any of those things because he hasn't been able to play. But I do still think, I do believe what Shanahan is saying. He feels good about it. And I do think that the Niners will have an opportunity. I just believe that you have to get one of these guys just in case Brock isn't ready in time, or Trey Lance, the whole thing. So this is what I want to know. Can somebody please explain to me what we're doing with Trey Lance in terms of when he got, so yesterday Kyle Shanahan said, and I know we're going to get to the chippiness, and our dual threat QB got hurt. Right. When Trey Lance was drafted, do you recall him being a straight-up dual threat? Like, when I hear dual threat, I'm thinking, I guess, more Lamar Jackson-esque.
They would scheme up runs for
Justin Fields.
But he was more pocket quarterback.
Yeah.
He was pocket quarterback who had the ability to extend plays. Let's pick this up on the other side. 888-957-9570. We have Warriors losing to the T-Wolves. How do Warrior fans feel about that? We got Shanahan discussing the quarterback situation. Wide open lines, wide open conversation. It's Alan Styles in for Joe Shasky the Butcher. Spadoni's back. Lupman's back at the house. He's chilling. He's sick. What the hell is going on around here this week? What the hell is going on in the Bay Area? Warriors lose. They blow another double-digit lead. The 8th time that's happened this season. Niners, of course, are looking... Trey Williams is walking into the locker room on the crutches. What a nightmare. What a nightmarish week. All right, what's coming up?